You've probably heard from every creator telling you the exact same thing. Just give more value. And just because everyone repeats that advice, you just start cramming your content with more tips, more information, more steps, thinking that if you just give enough, that they will finally trust you. But that's completely wrong. The truth is the way that you've been taught about what value truly is the exact thing that's making your content invisible. And since no one on the internet wants to tell you what value truly is, I thought I'd step it up. So that's why in this video, I want to break down how the brain decides what's valuable, how to put it into your content, and where most creators get it wrong. Because once you understand what value truly is and how it actually works, you instantly separate yourself from 99% of creators, not because you'll know more, but because you're going to communicate differently. With that being said, let's jump into it. So if you're on the internet, you should know who this creator is, Alex Hormozi, and he's one of the biggest proponents telling everyone to create more value content. But the difference is everyone just assumes that it's all about giving information, and no one has actually reverse engineered why Alex's content is truly valuable. So that's why I want to show you what Alex truly means when he says create value content. So let's start with the first thing, which is what value is it? See, most people still think value is all about just information. The truth is value is not information. Information is abundant and it's now basically free, especially with tools like ChatGPT that's come onto the market. Information is essentially at everyone's fingertip. Value is not more features. So just by adding more stuff does not make something inherently valuable. This is for the people who just try to throw as much of their audience and just confuses them even more. Value is not your intention. So just because you're trying to help doesn't automatically create value. People aren't just going to find it valuable just because you want to help and give them value. And the last and most important is value is not what you think is valuable. Value only exists in the buyer's perception, meaning you can't define what is valuable for you. You have to understand your audience perception and what's in their mind and what they find truly valuable. This is where majority of people go wrong. They try to give things that people don't actually truly want. Okay, so we understand what value isn't, but what is value then? Simply put, value is the improvement in someone's state, whether internal or external. If you help someone feel better, be better, or have better things, then you create value. Everything else is just packaging around what value is. So let's break down how we can actually improve someone's state, whether it's internal or external. The simplest way to understand this is that people value whatever reduces pain or increases pleasure. Essentially, every form of value falls into one of these buckets. You either want to reduce pain and remove something bad, or increase pleasure and add something good. So on one end, people could be wanting to save time, remove inconvenience. They want to make more money because they want to remove financial pressure. They just want to make something easier. They want to reduce risk, prevent mistakes, or increase their clarity because they want to remove the anxiety of making choices and just feel less overwhelmed about. On the other hand, we have increased pleasure. This is people want more status. People want more enjoyment, more meaning in their life. How do we add purpose and depth into their life? People want more achievement, more connection, adds that feeling of belonging or intimacy. People are looking for inspiration and confidence. This is adding motivation and adding self-belief into their life. To understand this fully, you must understand the paradox of human behavior. Humans always want to complicate things. They don't want to live in the world of just neutrality. That's why we're always seeking more meaning, more connection, novelty, progress, status, growth. And that's why every human behavior is driven by one of these two problems. The problem of pain, where something is wrong, missing, or uncomfortable, or the problems of potential. I want growth, I want achievement, I want status. But both is dependent on how you want to look at it. If someone is trying to solve a problem of I'm trying to make more money, they could be moving away from pain, which is I feel broke, I'm constantly stressed, or they could look at it as I want to become the best version of myself and I want more freedom in my life. Same with fitness. They could hate the way that they look and feel the pain of everyone calling them fat. Or they could desire the dream body and wanting to feel better internally and also how they're perceived by others. Either way, people's true desire is to transform. They want a clear path and they want to change how they view that problem. But you might be asking yourself, humans have so many problems. They're trying to solve their health, they're trying to solve money problems, relationship problems with friends or family, business problems, searching for deeper meaning and spiritual problems. But the truth is they can't focus on all of these at the same time. But what someone puts their time, energy, and focus into is what they truly value. And that's why value is what they prioritize and act on. But most people are still stuck in that transformation. They want to make more money. They want to have a better body. So that's why if you help someone see clearly and understand the problem that they're focused on, that is delivering value. Clarity is what is going to create the value. The clearer the problem feels, the more valuable the solution becomes. And that's why everything just comes down to this. People are feeling overwhelmed and confused about whatever that they're trying to solve. And your job is to give them clarity on what direction they should take. See, that's the thing that most people don't realize is that most people actually feel like this on a day-to-day basis about their problem. Some people avoid it and some people face it, but they just don't have clarity on how to solve it. If they had clarity, they would easily just solve it. And that is what everyone is looking for. They're looking for more clarity on how to solve their problems. Like I mentioned, it's an improvement of someone's state. It could be making someone feel better, making them more confident when speaking on camera, feeling less anxious about money, or feeling more calm instead of being overwhelmed, becoming better, helping them become more disciplined, a clearer thinker, or even a better communicator, or helping them have better things, get more clients, earn more money, or help build a stronger audience or brand. Okay, so now that we understand what value is and what people actually find valuable, how do we deliver this in our content? This is the three-part value framework. We have topic or clarity, we have our unique lens, and we have belief shifts. Remember that value isn't the amount that you teach, it's the speed at which the viewer understands, believes, and then can act. It's all about the transformation, starting with the most important one, topic or clarity. So when you create a piece of content, what does it actually help them do? Moving from A to B. If someone clicks on your video, do they know exactly what they're in for? Are you very clear on what that one topic is and not 5 topics? One outcome that's clearly promised. The reason why it's so important is because as experts, when we talk about one specific topic, we forget to realize that the audience still hasn't had the building blocks to be able to solve that problem. For example, someone that's wanting to build a personal brand. I'm not going to create a video that says, here's how to grow the personal brand. What's the gear should I use? What kind of camera or lighting or audio should I use? Should I go on YouTube? Should I go on Instagram? What do I talk about? How can I become a better speaker? There's literally hundreds of topics under how to grow a personal brand. Even if we go deeper and teach you how to create a hook, there's still so many unanswered questions from the audience around how to build a hook. It could be things like using emotive language, how the hook is actually edited. Should it be a one take? Should it be multiple edits to make the hook more engaging? How to actually structure a hook. So you can see when someone starts talking about a topic, they usually go in 4 or 5 different areas and you don't actually solve something for someone. But if you have one clear promise and one outcome, for example, how to create a home studio office that teaches people the exact gear that they need from camera, lighting, and audio to set themselves up to have consistent filming. The question you have to ask yourself, is the viewer instantly clear on what the outcome is that this video is going to create for them? Remember that the audience has a problem that they want clarity on, so immediately they're going to identify, is this for me or is this not for me? Is this what I want to spend my time and energy and focus on, or is this not actually truly valuable? They will identify if this is the thing that's valuable for them. The next thing that we have is a unique lens. So your way of seeing the problem that reframes them from their assumptions. Think about it. The reason that they even have the problem in the first place is because they're thinking one-dimensionally about their problem. They're not able to see it from a different point of view. This is your job with your unique lens. You can use things like contrast, which is what everyone says was versus what actually works. The truth is most people are approaching the problem from just what everyone has said, what society has said, what's the first thing that pops in their mind. And that's why they usually end up stuck, because they haven't spent the time to look at it in a different way. This is your job, to use personal experience, analogies, or data to give them a different way at looking at that problem. What's really important about this is you want to make your unique lens very specific and focused, not broad or generic. The reason is you want it to feel distinct and memorable so that they remember when they solved this problem, they solved it from this person that gave them this new way of looking at life. The question you have to ask yourself is, does this reframe the problem in a way that they haven't heard before? It's like that quote of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. We just want to give them a new way. It is our job to give them a different lens on how to view that problem. And the last thing that we have is belief shift. You're not giving steps, you're changing how they think. This is where everyone goes wrong. They think it's about more information, but more information actually makes someone overwhelmed. We just need to simplify everything and just shift their belief. If someone finds it hard to show up on camera and create on YouTube, we need to show them a simpler way that they can approach content creation. You have to identify the old beliefs that's actually holding them back and replace it with a new belief that feels true and attainable. This is really important. You need to make them feel like they're capable of taking action, like it's actually attainable. Yes, you can try and shift someone's belief into making $1 million a month, but if they don't truly feel like it's attainable or they don't know what action to take next, that belief shift isn't locked in their identity. You need them to feel like, I've changed the way I've looked at this and I actually feel like I could actually do this now. The question you have to ask yourself is, did I change how they see their problem and themselves? See, this is the interesting thing. You can't only just change the way that they see the problem through your unique lens. You need to shift their belief in how they view themselves too. An example that's so common in my world is people trying to go on YouTube. They look at YouTube as such a harder platform, but I always try to remind people that if you can hold up a camera and talk on Instagram for a minute, there's literally no difference on YouTube except for you're just talking for a longer period. Call it 5, 10, 15 minutes. Like yes, on Instagram, you still need a caption, maybe a hook on your video, which is essentially your title, and how you show up on camera and the lighting is essentially your thumbnail. It's not that much different than creating on Instagram. But you see, the thing is most people are so overwhelmed with YouTube thinking it's such a hard platform, but this is the belief shift I need to change. And that's why when you stack these 3 things, the viewer perceives the value before you ever even give a tactic. I want to get meta here and talk about how I actually use this framework in this video as well. So starting with the one topic I talked about in this video, which is value. And the one outcome and one clear promise is how to give value in your content. The unique lens is this 3-part value framework, giving you a very specific way that you can apply this in your content. And the strongest belief shift is how you view value in the first place, which again, most people just think it's more information and adding more and more and more, when in fact, it's all about simplifying things and actually having clarity. I want to show you how these 3 videos actually apply this framework and why they were so successful. Starting off with this first video from Callaway. So you would have seen the topic is extremely clear. He's talking about how social media is changing and how brands are slowly going to grow by running multiple small pages instead of just one. It gives you a unique lens, giving you a different way to look at this problem. Brands should be acting like a TV network and testing shows just how a TV network used to do, and then just keep the ones that people like, and then turn them into full channels. Shifting everyone's beliefs that you don't need just perfect posts and just one account to win. You can actually experiment way more and just keep what works. What's really important about this unique lens and belief shift, it actually feels accessible to people and they can actually implement this into their own brand. Next, we have this video from Gosha. Again, the topic is extremely clear. It's about building a strong brand that is not copying cool things, but it's actually about choosing the life and the process that you want your brand to live in. It's about world building. His unique lens is using Pinterest to actually collect the stuff and use that to define the feeling, the routine, or the world that your brand belongs to.
In my understanding, the big idea is not about the items or the people or even the colors or textures we want to surround ourselves with, but it's the future and the process we want to build for ourselves, the process that we want to live through every single day, the people next to us, the office next to us. Where do we get to build the process that later takes care of itself? Do you visualize yourself as Batman in final form? Or do you understand that before the Batsuit comes on, Bruce Wayne has to deal with all of his struggles?
And the belief that he wants you to shift is by you consuming a lot more of these visual aesthetic, is that if you start visualizing more objects, instead of making you a consumer, it starts to make you analyze these moods and processes and actually turns you into a creator that understands and builds real taste. And last but not least, we have Alex Hormozi. Again, his topic is extremely clear, which is you're setting your goals wrong and you don't have one clear goal and you're trying to do too many at the same time.
The reason you're busy but still broke isn't because you're not working hard enough. It's because you're working on too many things. In other words, you're busy but in the wrong ways.
It gives a unique lens of running a business like throwing one big party, instead of hosting and throwing multiple parties, which is so much harder than just focusing on that one party.
Let's say that you want to start a party on a Friday night, but instead of starting one party, you say, hey, I want to have 4 parties on a Friday night. Now, if that were what you were going to do, you might be like, man, none of my parties worked out. But it would be obvious to you now when you thought, like, why didn't my parties work out? It's because you never got enough critical mass. Because if you combined all of the people and all the people you're going to invite at one party, that party would then take off and then become a party in of itself. And so this idea is basically what you're spending all your time on. You only have a certain number of people in your network, only a certain number of people that you can potentially contact to leverage to do deals, to get your help from, to help work for you, all of those things. But you're trying to start 4 parties at once and wondering why none of them's working.
And the belief shift that he wants you to have is that working harder isn't the thing that's going to make you rich, but focusing on one high impact thing does. You'll start to notice in the most successful videos that they all share these 3 things. They're very clear about their topic, they give you a new way of looking at that problem, and they shift your belief into looking at the problem a new way, giving you clarity. And for everyone that stayed all the way at the end with me, I want to share with you why Alex Hormozi's content is filled with so much value. What he does in every single video is he goes through these 3 steps multiple times. Every time he brings up a new word or new idea, he gets really clear about what that is. He gives you a different way at looking at that word or that process and then changes your belief. He does this multiple times in the video. For example, in this video, the topic is hard work alone won't make you grow. It gives you a new way at looking at it. His unique lens is that you truly can't have more than one first. Priorities only work if there is a hierarchy and one is at the top. And the shift in belief is if everything matters, then nothing does. So get really clear on what that priority ideas for you. Another one where the topic is about constraint is power. Gives you a new way at looking at things, saying that if you only had one move in a year, you would choose way better. Again, changing your belief that limiting choices feels not as good, but it actually creates better decisions and allows you to grow faster. So with all of that being said, what I really want you to take away from today is that value is insight and clarity and not information, because information itself is really forgettable. But if you're able to give someone insight and clarity, this is what's going to make it memorable for them. This is something that they can share with others. And this is what's going to build real trust in your brand. This is where most creators go wrong straight from the jump, because they start talking about big topics that actually hide hundreds of subtopics. It could be things like how to grow a YouTube channel. That sounds like one thing, but it entails a lot of other skills underneath. Scripting, thumbnails, titles, recording, retention, analytics, gear, branding, distribution. There's actually a lot of areas inside of that one topic. And without actually breaking it down, the viewer has no idea of where to start. Like I mentioned, there's actually so much information out there that everyone actually feels overwhelmed. And the truth is, humans are actually only wired to process one thing at a time. And that's why when you say way too much, people actually don't learn anything. Their brain doesn't actually process all of that information clearly. And that's why it's your job to have that one clear A/B transformation. Like, what is that topic that you want to talk about, and what is it that they're going to learn? And the goal is that that topic should be easy to understand and remember. So if you truly want to give value to your audience, it's not about more information, more steps, more concepts, and more noise. I want you to think about insights, because you want to remove what doesn't actually matter. It's going to filter, clarify, and simplify to help your audience actually understand something. And remember that one powerful insight can do what 50 tips can't. It allows them to completely change how they think about a problem, and that is what sticks with them forever. So if you want to build a strong brand, become the person that makes them think differently, not the person that listed the most facts.